Hello, welcome to Mismatched Readers Club. I'm Hannah and I'm with Eliza, and we're here to talk about books and overthink characters and probably go off topic.
I said none of that in last episode's intro, which is
No,
kind of
you just
hilarious.
kind of jumped. I think you just said this is Mismatched Readers Club, and then you just went straight into it, which is probably better because it does very much sound like we're reading off a script, and it's because we are.
Yeah. I think as well, I had to sort of broach the topic of the fact that we're recording remotely, which we are again for this episode.
Yeah, it's
And the
2 weeks
fact
for you
that
guys and about 30 minutes for us.
for us, and the fact that I'm unwell, so my voice sounds like I've been smoking for half my life, which honestly isn't a lie, but
I was about to say that's pretty true.
I sound horrendous because I have some kind of head cold flu bug. Who knows? No
I
idea.
don't know. I don't know. And
But
I am still on my emotional support wee bag.
that's totally fine. All right. So what are we talking about this week? You can tell us.
We are talking about 2020,
Now, we
which
understand that this episode is coming out mid-April. It is some point in April when this episode comes out, so we get that there have been several books that have already been released. We can briefly talk about the new releases that we've seen, read, whatever. And I definitely have books that at the time of recording this have not come out because it is the end of February, start of March when we're recording. So there are books that are coming out in March that I'm going to talk about in this episode. When this episode releases, they will already be out. So you've probably got some of the same. I imagine there might be a couple.
yeah, there was a lot. I haven't read a lot of them. They're on my list, but there's a lot of February releases that I wanted to read. Also, when I made in our joint drive my little book release
Yeah.
radar thing, and I only made it because last time when we recorded the first time, and you had like your podcast of the book, your spreadsheet of the books that you had read, and it was all like color coded and stuff. And I was like, I've got to get my shit together somehow. So I was like, I've got to stop having new releases just like saved as screenshots or whatever on my phone or like written into a note.
It's
So I've
much
put
easier if
them,
you've got some form of document to add them to.
yeah. And this was good for me as well because I would always be like, oh, I want to read that book. And then I would look at it and go, wait, why did I want to read that book? So I made a little spreadsheet, which I'm very happy with. And it's got like page count, when it's released, a link to the book, who the author is, and what genre it is, because that will help trigger me to remember exactly what it is that I want to read. Also, just realized I DNF'd a book that I thought was a very recent release, and it kind of is, but it came out like beginning of November last year.
I mean, it's still recent. I'd say anything the
It's
last 6
recent-ish.
months is recent.
Yeah.
No, mine isn't quite that expensive. Mine pretty much has like name, author, whatever series it's a part of, if it's a part of one, at the date it releases, or at least the date that I found that it releases, because sometimes the release date, if it's in it, like you get given a US release date, but they release maybe a week or two later in Australia for whatever fucking stupid reason.
Yeah, there's a few on here where I couldn't get, like the original notes I have is like, this releases in February or maybe April. Or like one of them was like, this releases in February or September.
Yeah. I also have some columns of whether I'm, like, particularly if it's part of a series, whether I'm, like, up to date in the series or not,
It's good.
and whether I have purchased or pre-ordered it. Because I forget what books I order. And then there's just another one of notes for certain things. Like, for some of these, I've got notes that I want to reread, like, whatever book beforehand, or, like, look up a recap, whatever. Because otherwise I'll forget, and the book will come out, and I'll start reading and be like, I've got no idea what's happening. So,
I don't know who are these people
yeah.
and what are they doing in my house?
Difference between me who reads a lot of series versus you who reads a lot more standalone stuff.
Mm.
So I need to track where I'm at with certain series versus you just need info on what the book's about.
Pretty much. It's definitely easier.
All
Okay.
right. Well, do we want to talk about, at least for where we are as far as filming this, so any books that have come out in January, February that you may not have read yet or you're currently reading? Like new releases from the first couple months?
Yeah, I've got a couple that I've bought. I just haven't started reading them yet. One is She Made Herself a Monster by Anna Kovačeva, which is like a historical fiction book about vampires, and I really want to read it. I bought it on its release date, which was 10th of February, and I've put it onto my Kobo. I just haven't read it yet. And then the other like newish release one that I just DNF'd was Emma and I were reading it for book club, and it was Palaver by Brian Washington, and it was insufferable. We were both just like,
I remember you telling me about that.
it was just not like, I really like Brian Washington. I think he's an incredible author, but I was just like, I hate these two characters. I don't like anyone in this book. Emma was like, I'm bored by this book. And I was like, I'm annoyed by this book. And then we were kind of talking about it. And then I was like, can we just call it a wash and pick something different for book club for March? So we're going to pick something different for March, which reminds me I have to pick something for book club for March.
Good. Anything else?
Not really. There's a couple other ones. There's a lot of stuff coming out in like March and April that I want to read. I
Yeah.
think April, from the looks of it, looks like the biggest month for me to have new books to read.
Mine is, yeah, definitely March and April. July's got a few good ones coming. But for me, for January and February, there's actually only two as well. One is Throne of Nightmares. It came out on February 10th. And I'm actually, as of the date of filming this, I am maybe 100 pages out from finishing it. I started it earlier this week and I read a good chunk of it yesterday, but I got to the point where I was struggling to keep my eyes open while reading. So I put it down for the day.
Yeah, that's fair.
And that's part of a series that I have the other books for, and I was like, it's a third book in a series, and I was up to date with that, or at least I had all the books, but I read book 2 last month. And then the other one, which came out on January 13th, was Graceless Heart by Isabel Ibanez.
Like, I've seen this.
So prior to, I'll share my screen with you if you like, and you can see the cover of it, because it is very pretty. It's just the Goodreads page because I had to look up a little bit of info because I knew nothing about this
I
prior.
have seen that book. That cover's really
Yeah.
nice.
So prior to pre-ordering it, I didn't know much about it other than what I'd seen a few people talk about on social media, but it is set in Renaissance Italy, and our main character enters a competition hosted by a very secret immortal family, and they're offering this big prize to the victor. She wants to win to save her brother, and she reveals that she has a rare magical talent. But the city is a place where magic is forbidden, so she becomes a target and is kidnapped by the Looney family, whoever the fuck they are, and taken to Florence. And then it's romantasy, so we've got games and trials, we've got um, political alliances, war brewing, things like that. I was really intrigued by the Renaissance setting because you don't really see much Renaissance-based stuff in fantasy.
No, not really.
So, I think the plot itself is going to be kind of cut and paste romantasy in a way, but the setting is going to be really different. And I mean, that cover is just stunning.
Yeah, the cover is really, really
It's
nice.
so pretty. So that's really it. There was another book that I had in my list in another fantasy series called Dawn of the North. It's the Ashen series by Demi Winters. It's a Viking-inspired fantasy series. I haven't read any of them, and I would have loved to have gotten caught up prior to it. But the problem is the books are so expensive to find, and I just
Really?
couldn't. Yeah, because I think it's technically indie published at the moment. I think it is being traditionally published, but it came out on February 3rd, and I haven't got it because I haven't read the series and I couldn't get the series. One, with enough time, and two, without paying like $45 for a book. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. Sorry.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
So that's really it.
I
But
just found one
yeah.
that actually want to read that was published in January, and I think I'm going to whack this to the top of my to be read pile.
Ooh.
It's called May We Feed the King by Rebecca Perry, who is apparently she's a poet. This is a historical fiction book, and the main character is a curator who spends her time dressing the rooms of historic buildings to bring them to life. In the lush private quarters of a medieval palace, she finds herself so transfixed by the reign of an almost forgotten king that the edges of her life begin to blur. So it sounds like it comes from, it's like the curator's story, but then also the story of the king. But it's not very long. It's like it says 260 pages.
That's enough.
That's joyous. I could do that. I'll be doing that. So whack that one up there.
Excellent. March. So even though as of release, these books will have come out. But is there anything coming out in March that you're excited for?
Yeah, there is
Yeah,
so much. Hang
I've
on.
got
I've
I've
got all
got
of my
4.
windows open. Now I'm trying to find the bloody book I want to talk about. The first one coming out is on March 3rd, which is Repetition by Vigdis Horth. I read Is Mother Dead by Vigdis Horth a couple years ago, and I fucking loved it. I think she is Norwegian. I don't know. And it's really small. It's 144 pages. And it follows the events of her 16th birthday. And then apparently just like goes back over and over them. So it's like half literary fiction, but then it's also called historical fiction. So I'm looking forward to reading it. I really like her reading, although I think that there was a lot of stuff with Vigdis Horth where I'm not sure how to say her name, and I'm sorry if I'm saying it wrong. She is like a bit of a controversial figure, I think, because she wrote a book about her family, and she's estranged from her family, and there was like a lot of controversy about it. I've butchered that explanation. Anyway, Is Mother Dead by her is an incredible book. Oh yeah, she's Norwegian. I'd recommend her book, so I'm excited for that one. What was the next one you were excited for?
I have, so for March, there's quite a few. The first one that comes out is Blood and Roses by Callie Hart. Callie Hart also wrote the Quicksilver, which I'm sure you've seen people talk about.
Yeah, there was lots of controversy about the sequel to that or something,
Yes,
wasn't
that
there?
came out in November. Yeah, it's not the best editing. One of the like core side characters is somehow in two places at once. He's training with our female main character while he's also in a completely different like plane to like in a different realm to himself with the male main character. Yeah, something went wrong in the editing process there. But so yeah. So she's the author of that, and she has Blood and Roses coming out, which I believe is actually it's a republication of a dark romance series of hers, and it's actually books 1 to 3, and it's kind of like a dark mafia romance. I'm not massive on like dark romance stuff. Like I like some things, but I really like Callie Hart's writing. So I was intrigued enough to grab this and see how I like it. But so that's my first one. And then on the 10th, there is The Wings That Bind by Bria Boleyn. It's a series called Bloodwing Academy. People liken it to a little bit like Fourth Wingy, like it's an academy aspect. We've got dragons, but we've also got vampires.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the third book in the series. I actually haven't read any of the series. I have books 1 and 2. I was planning on reading them this month, but I never got to it. So they're first up on the TBR for March, so that I can hopefully have them read by the time this comes out. And then at the end of the month, we have Game On by Nevessa Allen, which is her third book in the Into Darkness series, which everyone and their mother on BookTok, and I mean, you've also probably heard of Lights Out.
What is that?
It's a dark rom-com is the easiest way of putting it.
I don't
Like
know if I have.
our main love interest stalks our female main character. I've told you about told you about this book. He has a thirst TikTok like a thirst trap social media account. And
Oh,
she's obsessed with it, and it turns out that, and this is spoilers for the book. The book came out fucking ages ago. Turns out that the guy that has the account is like a on and off again fling of our female main character's roommate. And he catches wind that she's
right.
really into his account and then like lightly stalks her, and then they end up together.
Yes, I remember you telling me about this.
It's hilarious, and I really enjoy it. And it's the third book in the series coming out at the end of March. And then my last book for March is Starside by Alex Astor. Alex Astor wrote Lightlark.
Yes, you've given me that book, and it is
Yes,
still sitting on my bookshelf. I haven't finished
that's
reading
fine.
it.
It is. I think it's her first fully adult fantasy romance. So I'm actually quite excited to see what that's like, because I like her writing. I will admit the Lightlark saga has gone a little off the rails for my liking, but there's only one book left, so I'll stick it out at this point.
Looking at it, I thought I actually had more for March, but I've only got one other book for March, which is April is going to be like evil to my bank account, I think. It's Almost Life by Kieran Millwood Hargrave, which is I don't know, it says, "Almost Life is a story of longing for the paths not taken and the almost lives we live." So it's about two women, I think. Yeah, it's about two women who and they're, like, when they first meet and then across their lives as they kind of, like, meet again and again and stuff. But it's a big book, it's, like, 450 pages. But Kieran Millwood Hargrave wrote The Dance Tree, which I read a few years ago and I really liked, so I'm excited for that one to come out. Also, the cover's really cute. But, yeah, so that's that one. And then April is there's so much in April. I'm looking at it, I'm like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna need to take the month off work," which
I
is
only
fine.
have 3 in April, which is bizarre, but I feel like I feel like there was more coming, but it might just be things that I've seen that's coming out in April and I don't have much of an interest in. For the record as
I have
well, my
7.
releases are mostly fantasy,
Yeah.
and as yours are mostly, like, literary contemporary fiction with, I'm assuming, a few maybe non-fiction-y essay collection stuff.
Yeah, there's a few in there.
So you
My
got
first one
7 for April,
7,
damn.
yeah. So Permanence by Sophie Mackintosh is on there. I tried reading this one, I'm not like, I don't know if it's gonna work for me. I've read a couple of her other books and I didn't, like, love them, but this sounds really good and a booktuber that I like has, like, really talked it up. So I think I'm gonna give it a go. It's only 250 pages
Okay.
and it seems to be about people who are having an affair, but that when they're having the affair, they are in, like, a secret world type of thing, which is, yeah, they find themselves in a strange, impossible city, a place populated entirely by adulterers. Anyway, it seems interesting enough, so I'm going to give that one a go. And then I've got Hexes of the Deadwood Forest by Agnes Zilpa. She is a Polish author. I'm excited to read that one. It is about a woman who loses her job as an oil company CEO after she's filmed having sex with a tree in her sleep. So she spirals through history until she's united with a centuries old coven of ecstatically revolutionary women. Anyway, it sounds very interesting. It's described as bold and entirely unexpected. And I was like, yeah, that kind of sounds pretty accurate.
Filmed having sex with a tree in her sleep. Yeah, that sounds bold and unexpected, that's for sure.
Yeah. And then there's Body Double by Hannah Johansson, which is another translated fiction. And it's about two women who fall in love and move in together who begin to resemble each other, while elsewhere a young woman who works transcribing recordings for a ghostwriter receives a strange message that will come to upend her life. So Hannah Johansson wrote a book called, I've forgotten the other one. What did she write? I read it, like, late last year and I really loved it, but evidently not enough to remember the title.
That's hilarious, good job.
Antiquity is what it was called. It was so, so good. I really, really loved it. So I'm really excited. That's been on my, like, to be read for ages now. And then No Such Thing as a Monday by Cyan Hughes. The two big ones that I'm excited for are London Calling by Patrick Radden Keefe, which is a mysterious death in a gilded city and a family's search for truth. It's about a teenager who mysteriously fell to his death from a luxury apartment building on the banks of the
Thames,
Thames.
I think.
So I am very excited to read that because I love Patrick Radden Keefe. I think I'm probably going to get that on audio because
Is he narrating that one too?
I bloody hope so. That would be really, really good. And then the other one I'm very excited about is The Witch by Marie Niardier, which is actually just got nominated for the Booker.
Which we will talk
And
about later in this episode.
yes, and it was actually originally published in French in 1996, but it's just been translated again. So I think it'll be really good. It's about a young girl who comes from a long line of witches. I'm excited to read it. It looks awesome.
Sounds
So
good.
that comes out
I
on 14th.
I only have 3 on my list, which feels wrong, but it is what it is. The first one is The Thorn Queen by Sasha Payton Smith. I read the first book, which is called The Rose Bargain, last year, and it was surprisingly good. Like, I picked it up because I'd seen a few people sort of talk about it. Basically, it's very, like, Regency-esque, London feeling. Like, it's people always
Bridgerton
refer
vibes.
to people always refer to Bridgerton vibes, and I kind of get it because it's like London high society, all the courting and the balls and things like that. But the general concept is every year, every girl that has like come of age, I don't know what age they're talking about specifically, I think it's like 16 or 18, they go and meet with the queen who happens to be Fae, and they get to make a bargain with her. So they can ask for like all kinds of things. Like a lot of them, someone will ask for like, I want straighter teeth, or I want to have like, the most beautiful hair, or the best singing voice, or whatever. And then the queen often takes something in return. So like I think one of them, she wanted to have uh, I'll just like you. I don't know. Remember it was whether it was accurate or not. I think she wanted to have like really really nice hair and in a specific color, and like the queen took one of her pinky toes as part of the
Ew.
bargain. Yeah,
Okay.
like it's just like random sort of things like that. And our main character doesn't really want to make a bargain, but she wants her bargain. Well, she does, but her bargain is to be that she wants her sister's bargain to be undone because I think her sister's been acting weird or she's gone missing or whatever. I don't remember exactly. But then it ends up getting like really convoluted and twisted, and you've got like two brothers, and because the queen had married a human king. She's Fae, and then her son is also Fae, and then the king had another son who's human. It was surprisingly good. Like I went into it with semi-low expectations. I was just like, oh yeah, okay, it sounds interesting. And then I really enjoyed it. And the ending was diabolical. So I was like, I will read book 2. And then, so that comes out on the 14th of April. And then on the 28th, we have 2 books coming out. One that it has said for so long that it's going to come out, but the book has been delayed several times. So I wouldn't be surprised if it gets pushed again. Yeah. The first one is Right to the Starling by Devney Perry. So last year, a big book on social media, Shield of Sparrows, was released. I read it. I really, really enjoyed it. It was a bit of a different take on, I guess, the romantasy genre because there was more world building than a typical romantasy book has. Like there was a lot of talk about the world that they were in, and like there's all these like monsters and things like that they have to deal with. And then it has once again like a really big twist at the ending. Our female main character is the sister of the girl that is supposed to be betrothed to this prince, but
Okay.
he ends up not wanting the sister and wanting our main character, which causes all kinds of a big deal.
Causes problems.
Yeah, but obviously they go along with it because there's like magic in play. The main character's kingdom is like their magic is dwindling, so they need like stronger unions with like stronger magic wielders to replenish like the magic in the bloodline, essentially.
Right, right.
But then the the prince that she's now betrothed to, pardon, um, there's an issue with because I think he has fire magic, but there is parts of his kingdom that are just like perpetually on fire, and they want because the female main character, their magic in their bloodline is weather control. So he wants the magic in their bloodline so they can bring in rains to stop these fires.
Right.
It's all very twisted, but it's very very good. So that the sequel to that comes out, and I think that's only supposed to be a duology, but I could be absolutely fucking wrong.
I love a duology.
And then the next one is The Ballad of Falling Dragons by Sarah A. Parker. Book 1 was When the Moon Hatched. This book has been delayed 3 or 4 times at this point. It was supposed to come out some point last year, and then it got pushed again. Got pushed to the end of last year and then pushed to the start of this year, and has been pushed again to the end of April this year. I haven't read When the Moon Hatched. I have it. It's on my list to be read. I'm somewhat intimidated by it because it is apparently quite flowery writing, and you know my thoughts on super flowery
I know.
writing.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
But like I will read it, and I definitely have I fucking pre-ordered it already. I haven't read the first book, don't even know if I like it. But well, here we are. This is me we're talking about. Capitalism gets me every single time. But so yeah, I don't really know a whole lot. I believe the female main character in When the Moon Hatched is supposed to be an assassin of sorts who is sent to kill somebody, and that's about all I know.
When did you say you thought it was going to be published? End of
Initially,
April.
it's scheduled for April 28th of this year.
Well, I'm looking at it now. It's scheduled for the 19th of May.
Fuck
So
me.
it's been
See, I knew
pushed
it.
again.
I knew it.
Yeah. Yeah, it says here, publication date 19th of May, 2026. 700 pages.
Yeah, the first book's about the same.
Good God. No
Ugh,
thanks.
see what I mean? This is rude. See, Amazon still says April 2026.
I have 2 books for May. One is
As
hang on.
do I.
Yeah, I don't have a lot for May. One is Said the Dead by Dorian Ni Rioja. I don't think I've said her last name right. She's an Irish author. And it's described as genre morphing, but it's set in Cork in Ireland, and it's about a Victorian mental hospital that's being converted into modern apartments. And it looks at like the women who were admitted to the mental hospital. So it sounds
Interesting.
really interesting. I read her previous book and it was really, really good. I really liked it. Once again, I have forgotten the name of her first book. And I can't remember. It was like the first book I read last year. She wrote, A Ghost in the Throat is what it was called. And it was about her. It was like a memoir kind of thing where it was like talking about her becoming kind of like obsessed with this figure from like Irish history and how she like researched her life and wrote a book out of it, which was really, really interesting. So I'm excited about that one. And then the other one is Vocal Break by Lauren Elkin, which is it's a cultural history exploring female singing voices. So I'm mostly interested to read this because Lauren Elkin can be like a bit hit and miss for me. She's a really, really good art writer. And I really liked her book Art Monsters, but I read Scaffolding, which is her nonfiction book, last year, or I started to read it and I couldn't finish it because I just hated it so much.
Yeah.
So I'm a bit not sure on that one. But I like her nonfiction, so I'm assuming that it would be probably good. But that's all I've got for May. It's not much in there. It's probably May, at least only having a couple of books will let me catch up from the financial damage of April.
Yeah, that's fair. So for May, I've only got 2 as well.
Mm.
I have, again, the 2 sequels. I don't have many that aren't sequels on here. Uh, so Broken Dove by Danny Francis, which is the second book to Silver Elite. That was a very controversial book last year because Danny Francis is a pen name. So no one knows who Danny Francis actually is. So there was a lot of speculation about, there was a rumor that went around that it was Colin Hoover trying to regain some sort
Really?
of literary repertoire back, and I don't buy that. Or like an author that maybe landed in some hot water that is trying to like rebrand under a different name to, keep making money. Which, like, if that's what it is, then fine, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it's fine. But then there was also controversy about the book being potentially written by AI and whether the author itself
Okay.
doesn't exist because people are like, oh, it's very cut and paste of, a lot of other tropes and this and that. And I'm like, yeah, cool. So is like every other romantasy book being released these days, but sure, go off. Like, and I mean, I read romantasy, I read all of these books, and I will agree that a lot of them are very similar. So, and I think the biggest issue that I took from Silver Elite is that it is marketed as a dystopian book, which it is very loosely. It is an academy, like a war academy novel, war academy romance in a dystopian setting. It's
O
not really I wouldn't necessarily say it's like a dystopian book as such. I don't know. It's a
I
little bit
hate the cover.
mismarketed.
I'm so sorry. I'm looking at it now. That's hideous.
What, Silver Elite?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
The
not the
art, like,
greatest. Like
it's
it's simple and it's boring in a way.
the thing that makes me wanna die is the part where it says, "Her mind is her deadliest weapon." Shut up. I don't like that. Like, I get it's about a psychic, but also your commitment to like, I'm looking at the books that you're saying that you're gonna read. Your commitment to reading, like, long books is crazy because I'm looking at the page count on mine and I'm like, "Yeah, this is 250 pages. Whatever, this is 300." And you're like, "Oh, yeah, it's fine." It's if I was reading a 500-page book and I wasn't enjoying it in the first 50 pages, bin. Well, not bin, but, like, I'm not finishing it.
And then that's coming out on May 12th. May 20th is Light Wilder, which is book 2 in the Fire and Metal duology by Rachel Schneider. I think this one was a tiny little bit overhyped. Not gonna lie. I really enjoyed it. The twist did get me. It is a more of a unique fantasy world in the sense that the female main character, her like tribe of people all live on the water,
Mhm.
and there's like a bit of conflict between like her community and then the land dwelling communities. But she ends up
Okay.
basically teaming up with one of these land I can't remember if he's a prince. I think he is because they always are.
They always are.
Teaming up, and then there's like a big old twist at the end. And again, I read this when it came out like last April, so I remember very little detail from the book. And I will have to reread Metal Slinger, which is book 1, in the lead up to this. So, but the twist was enough for me to go, I need to fucking know what happens here. And it's also and it's only a duology, so I'm like, I can commit to that.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, anything for June?
For me, yeah, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 books.
I have one.
Really? I have Make Strange by Neve Campbell. I'm very excited for this, which
Neve Campbell is
is
in like the actress? No.
no, this Neve Campbell is a Irish author.
So I'm thinking Neve Campbell, like the actress from Scream. Is that Neve Campbell?
No. Isn't that Neve Campbell?
It's
I'm
spelled
not
Neve. I
sure.
think it's still pronounced Neve.
Anyway, I'll read you the blurb because it actually sounds kind of, I don't know, I'm intrigued by the premise of it. So anyway, it begins on an orange afternoon, cool but ruminant, close to Halloween. Sunny, only 4 years old, looks up from the terrarium-sized tub of toys in the living room and asks, Mama, do you remember when I died? Over the course of the next strained year, Sunny will refer repeatedly to her previous lives and how they ended. Her parents, who rushed headfirst into family life after an accidental pregnancy and a hasty registry wedding, are left desperate for answers. Is the child suffering from dissociation, a psychological disorder, or something more? Has she been contaminated by their own haunted histories or by a shady legacy of madness in her father's family? So it sounds very odd. I remember those, like, I feel like it was like a Reddity thing where it
That
was
I
like,
was like, this sounds like someone's have written a novel about one of those fucking creepy pastas.
yeah, because I think it's like I feel like there was a Reddit post where someone was talking about like,
I
oh, my
remember when
kid
I
keeps,
died, Mum,
yeah, my kid keeps talking to me about how she died.
or something like that, with that almost that exact phrasing.
Yeah, so I'm interested to read it. I mean, it's like Irish fiction. I really love Irish fiction, so I don't think it'll be bad.
No,
And I think it's an interesting enough premise. Also, I'm pretty sure it's like 300 pages, so it's pretty short. Then the next one is The Book of Mysteries, Wild Time, and the Ritual Year by Rebecca Tamar. And that is really short. It's like 200 pages. It's a blend of memoir, nature writing, and ecological thinking. So she wrote it while she was suffering from burnout, and she like essentially like traveled across the UK, but she used the pagan wheel of the year to do it instead.
interesting.
So it's really like I think her writing is really good. So I'm really excited to have a little read of that. And it's like again like a nice quick book. And then the next one is I feel like it'll be a good nonfiction month for me. The next one I'm really excited about is called Depraved: The Story of Dangerous Art by Daisy Dixon, who is a art historian. And she talks about the history of art that society has condemned as depraved, obscene, or dangerous. And she covers stuff from like prehistoric sculpture to extreme metal music, video games, and classical paintings. So I think it would be, and it's kind of like history of censorship and stuff as well. So I think that will be really, really interesting to read. It's been a while since I've read like a art nonfiction book, and I'm excited to do that. And then the next one is Worry Doll by Laura McPhee Brown, which I am really, really excited about because I read Cherry Beach and Little Plum by her. She's an Australian author
Yeah, I've heard you talk
and
about it before.
loved both of them. They were so, so, so good. And that comes out on the 30th of June, I think, is when it does. So I'm really, really excited about that. Also, the cover of it is so nice. It's like pink and black. It's just like very, very striking. So I'm excited about them for June. I would
I've only
be
got
interested.
one. It's crazy.
Really? What have
I'm not
you
that.
got?
It is Harvest Season by Bryn Weaver. Bryn Weaver wrote Butcher and Blackbird, that series, which I
What's
have
Butcher
told
and
you about. It's
Blackbird?
another like dark romantic comedy series. So
Is
the
it the 2
first book,
serial killers?
yeah.
Yeah, I remember this.
This is a different series, but they are interconnected. The female main character from this series is actually a person that Sloane and Rowan from Butcher and Blackbird rescued from another serial killer.
Okay.
And so there's a little bit of a crossover there. So this is book 2 in that series. Her first book was Tourist Season, which came out last year, and it's set in a town called Cape Carnage, which is just honestly the best name for a town ever. Yeah, it's so good. But yeah, it's the sequel to that. I can't really talk too much about it without like giving away the plot. But I will say initially, like when I think I filmed a review for my BookTok account for Tourist Season or for it might have been for books coming out this year, I talked about Harvest Season as being an interconnected standalone because with the Butcher and Blackbird trilogy, so you got Butcher and Blackbird, Leather and Lark, and Scythe and Sparrow, they are all interconnected stories. So it's actually about the three male main characters are all brothers. And then it's sort of their stories with their love interest. That the stories all link in together, but they are effectively like their own story. But if you don't read them in order, you'll not like if you read Leather and Lark first, you'll know that Sloane and Rowan get together at the end of Butcher and Blackbird, which is book 1. Like it gives away a little bit about the relationships, but not that much. So I thought that Harvest Season, which comes out in June, was going to be the same kind of thing where it was going to cover like another couple within this town or within this like set of characters. But it does look like it's actually just a direct sequel instead. So I'm just going to self-correct here on this for anyone that's from my BookTok account that thinks that I've misled. But from what I can gather, it is actually a direct sequel because we are still following the first 2 characters from Tourist Season. But yeah, that's all for me for June, at least from what I've got on this list. I haven't updated it in a while, not going to lie, because like, sometimes you get announcements for books like 2 or 3 months out versus some books which get announced, 6 to
Yeah.
8 months ahead of time. But that's all I've got for June, just the one.
I don't have anything for July.
I have 4 for July.
Okay, well,
I know.
you may have the floor because I've got
Um,
nothing.
all right, well, I'll talk about the one I'm the most excited for July, and that is A Forsaken Prophecy by Stacey McEwen. You've heard me babble
You love Stacey
incessantly.
McEwen.
I do love Stacey McEwen. She's one of my favorite authors ever. So the first book was A Forbidden Alchemy that came out last year. Incredible. That's the one that's like set in like Industrial Revolution era. It's very like Peaky Blinders-esque
Yes, 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 yes.
focused. So we have like technology, but it's very like basic, rudimentary sort of stuff. Like we have steam trains and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
The sequel to that comes out. That's probably one of, if not my most anticipated book this year, second only to one that comes out in September, which is one that you will also be excited for.
Yeah, I can tell you that's on my list.
Other than that, I have The Exquisite Torment of Loving Your Enemy. Oh, A Forsaken Prophecy also comes out on the 14th of July. Yeah, I know, the title of this one's a bit questionable.
Yeah. Okay. Keep going.
I've actually forgotten the title of the first book. It's by Bridget Knightley. It is a traditional publish of a Hermione fanfiction that was called
Ugh.
not the auction. I can't remember what it was called. Um, I haven't read whatever the first one. I think it's called The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy.
Okay.
It's supposed to be like where obviously I've talked about Alchemized several times. That's a very, very dark fanfic, like traditional publishing fanfiction. This is a bit more lighthearted.
Mm.
Like she's a healer, he gets sent to her, and then they end up having to work together on something. Like it's a bit more lighthearted than Alchemized, which I'm here for it for funsies. That also comes out on the 14th, as far as I'm aware. On July 7th, In the Wake of the Ruin by Katie Cassidy, which is book 2 to In the Veins of the Drowning. I started reading In the Veins of the Drowning Like, I read like 3 chapters and then was like, what the fuck are you doing? You've got other books you need to read and put it down. But this is sirens. So, like,
Ooh,
mermaid
okay.
sirens. Yeah, so which you don't see a huge amount of in fantasy.
No, I feel like
And
I
it
definitely it's always
no.
like vampires and fairies and stuff like that,
Vampires,
which like
fairies,
fine. I play D&D.
werewolves,
Yes.
shifters. Like, the first couple of chapters that I read were really interesting, and I did wanna keep reading,
Okay.
but I was like, "It's not on your list. Put it down, you silly bitch."
Put it down.
I think it was just because I was going through my shelves and I, like, picked it up and, like, sometimes I like to pick up the books that I've got that I haven't read and, like, read, like, the first few lines and see how interesting it sounds.
Probably need to do that because the pile of books that I bought on Bookstore Day, I think I've read like or Love Your Bookstore Day, I think I've read 3 of them,
Wonderful.
and the rest of them are sitting in a big pile.
So that comes out, and then one that's not actually on my list, and I'm not 100% on whether it is coming out, but it is supposed to be coming out in July, which is Burn of the Everflame by Penn Cole. It's the 4th book in the I can't remember what the series is called. The first book is called Spark of the Everflame. I have read Spark of the Everflame. I have not read the next 2. I do have them, I just haven't read them yet.
Mhm.
It's a bit of a controversial series because people are like, the female main character is insufferable, and it's like, yes, she's a human being that makes mistakes and has, controversial opinions. God forbid.
God forbid.
So, and like, people don't like her internal monologue and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, cool. Not everyone has a great internal monologue. Some people are kind of shitty in their own heads.
Yeah, and also just like don't read it. It's not that deep.
That is July for me. Big month for me, birthday month.
Yeah. I'll remember your birthday this month.
This
This year.
this year. We'll see. I
We'll
don't
see
even
if
know
that
what day
happens.
my birthday is on. All right, August. You got anything for August?
I have 3. One of them I think is gonna be probably my most ambitious attempt of the year.
Yeah,
We'll see how we go. The
I've got
first
2 for August. So
I've got 3. One is Queen Mab by Emily McBride, which is this person's first novel, apparently, and it is a riveting portrait of madness, motherhood, and the myths that haunt us, and the families who keep us tethered. So it sounds like it's about a young mother who is a grad student and their kind of experience with having a baby and everything like that. So yeah, I think it sounds like she might have some kind of, like they talk about changelings a lot in it. So I think they're talking about also like having some kind of like psychosis. But I think that will be really
interesting.
interesting. The other one, which is going to be the big one, I think,
Yeah.
is called The Song of Stork and Dromedary by Annette Dange, and it's translated by David McKay. It is 750 pages long, which I know is like nothing to you, but like,
Nah, that's still a pretty
Christ.
700 pages is still a hefty book.
Yeah. So it's inspired by the life and work of Emily Bronte. It's set in the early 1800s, about a group of sisters, and one of them finally gets her book published. So apparently it's really good. I would really, really like to read it. The author is one of the judges of the International Booker this year, I think. So I am excited to read it, and the translator is someone who has translated a lot of Dutch fiction. So I feel like it'll be good, but also that's like a huge undertaking for me to read a book like that.
That's going to be a lot of your month.
Yeah, it is going to be a lot of my month. And then the next one, this is me judging a book by its cover. And I keep seeing it on Instagram. I'm worried it's going to be really overhyped, but I keep seeing it. It looks really good. It's called Kitten by Stacey Yu, and it comes out on the 4th of August. It's her debut novel. It's classic lit fic. It's a novel about an adrift young woman whose growing fascination with her boyfriend's cat ushers her into the possibilities of her own life, but not without first threatening to unravel it. So she becomes obsessed with her boyfriend's cat. And I think it's like the cat is also like obviously the vehicle in the novel to talk about her life and everything like that. But it's also about like being estranged from her mother and stuff. But it's got a really, I don't know, I can hear you typing. So I'm assuming that maybe you're looking at the
What
cover.
is that cover?
Do you have the one that's like bright blue
Yeah.
with the little cat on it? I think it's so cute. It's such a striking.
What in the word art cover?
I like it. I think it's like a very
Okay.
eye-catching.
Okay, yeah, the like the imagery of it and the color is fine, but the font.
The font, yeah, the font is an interesting choice.
What? Yeah. Other than that, like, I mean, I do think it's cute. Like, I do think it's cute. It's definitely going to be. It sounds like a very juxtaposing cover for the content of the book.
Yeah. I think it looks good though. I like it. I keep seeing lots of stuff about it. So yeah, I think but it's like because it comes out, like I'm already seeing so much hype about it. So I wonder if there's like so much hype about it already. Is it going to be so overhyped by the time it comes out that it's just not going to live up to anyone's expectations, considering it comes out like later in the year? So I'm not sure.
That yeah, I'm reading like the info on it. I'm like, it sounds interesting, but it also sounds mildly disturbing.
That's fine. Also, there is I just realized that I had the wrong date for this and I had this one listed down as end of August, possibly beginning of September, but it's actually the 22nd of May, which is a book that I really want to read. It's called The Vivisectors by Missouri Williams. And it is about a. Where is the title? It's about a graduate student who is like obsessed with the school that she's in. Like it's an old crumbling Victorian building. I'm excited to read it. It looks really good. The cover is really nice as well. This is the problem is I keep being like, oh, I'm going to read this because the cover's really nice. Anyway, it's got really, really good reviews. And it's also funny because someone who is a bookstore owner that I follow on Instagram, her review literally just says, "Girl, what the hell was this about?" So I'm quite excited to read it. It's got a lot of good reviews so far. So yeah, utterly bizarre, but really good.
Just what we look for in a book.
Just what we look for in a book. So yeah, I think it would be really good. It's like it's called academic dystopia. That sounds wanky, but I'm gonna give it a go.
That sounds so wanky.
Apparently, yeah, it says it's a satire about university at the end of the world. Great. So it sounds like it's been described as a lot of different things, but I am interested to read it. So it's nice and short and it comes out just after my birthday. But yeah. And then
It's
do you
August.
have, that's August, yeah. I feel like we both have the same book straight up for September.
Yeah, I have 2 for August though.
Oh, yes, sorry, I
I haven't
forgot that
done
we hadn't done
August.
August for you.
Rude.
Yes. Rude, sorry.
So, as far as I know, they both come out on the same date, but that could just be because I haven't put the date in for one of them. But on
Mm.
the 4th, I have The Lion in the Deathless Dark by Carissa Broadbent. Technically, it's book 5 in her Crowns of Nyaxia series. But the way this series works is they're done in novellas, duets. So we have because in the world of Nyaxia, well, not Nyaxia, because Nyaxia is a goddess, but in this world, there are 3 separate factions of vampire. There is Nightborn, Shadowborn, and Bloodborn. So
Okay.
the second duet has covered the Shadowborn, and then the third duet will cover the Bloodborn. So, and it's basically about someone within that clan. Usually, it's like a male main character is a member of said clan, and then yeah, it's typical fucking romantasy, basically. I will say the first 2 duets as well have also had a like companion novella so there are technically already 6 books in this series in a way. The novellas are completely optional, but I've read both of them and I do think that they give like a little bit more insight into some of the side characters, particularly the first one, which was called, I've forgotten what it's called, Six Scorched Roses. The characters out of that really come into play in the second book of the Shadowborn duet, whereas Slaying the Vampire Conqueror, which is the companion novella to the second duet, even though that technically should be read before the duet, like you only meet those characters like twice in the duet. But yes, so the first book in the Bloodborne duet comes out on the 4th of August. And then the second book is oh no, it also comes out on the 4th. I was right. It's Adversary to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Mehra. You've probably heard me talk about the Assistant to the Villain series.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like The Office, but make it like fantasy fairy tale, and it's so much fun.
Yes, I remember you talking about this.
So this
Yeah.
is the 4th book of that. I read this series at the start of the year, and I absolutely fucking raved about it. I think it's so good and it's so fun. The character, like the female main character Evie, is so relatable. She's clumsy. She's got the best internal monologue, but thoroughly enjoyable. So very, very excited. I'm still kicking myself over the fact that it took me that long to read that series. I enjoyed
Yeah,
it
I
that
feel like
much.
you originally told me about it kind of ages ago.
Oh, I probably did. Oh, it's probably I bought this book. It sounds fun, and then didn't pick it up for 6 months. But yes, September. I have one book for September, and you know what it is.
Oh, I know what it is. So we're both excited. I feel like this should be I know do we have a read along on our Wheel of Plot Luck?
We have a buddy read.
A buddy read. I think that should be our buddy read.
Oh, absolutely.
So
We'll both be there, like, on release day getting the book.
you bet your ass we will. Anyway, so the book that we are talking about is The Knave and the Moon, which is the sequel, and it's only a duology, so I'm very happy. It's the sequel to The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig. I can't wait.
I'm so
I'm
excited.
delighted.
That
I'm
is probably the only
delighted.
other book that would be contested for me for most anticipated release this year.
Yeah, I reckon it'd be my most anticipated, to be honest. Like, I really, I enjoyed the first one so much that I'm just like, okay, great. Like, can't
And
wait
that ending
to.
was so fucking rude. Like,
The ending, the twist at the end of that book, I went from being like, Benji is.
spoilers too, by the way.
Yeah, this is going to be spoilers. So, like, if
Big
you're
spoiler.
thinking about reading the book, stop now
Don't.
and resume in probably 45 minutes when I'm done ranting. But I was getting a little bit cluey that something was potentially up with Benji when they had gone to the seaside town. I can't remember the name of it, so sorry. They'd gone to like the seaside town to kill one of the omens, and he was like meeting with the knights, but like Rory wasn't there. So like Sybil and Rory went off and had sex on the beach during the thunderstorm, which like honestly good for them. Wish that was me with either of them. And then I was like,
We'll
okay,
join
so
as a third.
yeah, exactly. You're looking for a third, and I was like, okay, something's weird there, but like maybe it's weird with the knights and not with Benji, whatever. And also for
And it's
context,
like,
like Benji,
he's the boy king, Rory's nowhere to be found, so whatever.
yeah, he's like the boy king. He's like 17. And then at the fucking, no, I think he's only 7. I think he's 17. And then the end of the book where he fucks everyone over, I was so angry. And if I wasn't finishing that book at about 2 a.m., I would have screamed and thrown it across the room, but I didn't want to wake my partner up. So I was mad.
So was I.
Like, you little bitch. You 17-year-old little bitch. I could body him.
That one thing with him meeting with the knights without Rory was the only real hint that something was amiss.
The lead was like buried in there.
The
I think it
lead was
maybe
100 feet deep. There was no way we were finding that.
I think also like his maybe like I think maybe if I reread it, like his increasing like confidence, I think probably would have been like his increasing like need
he had
for
a
power.
very, very like slightly weird obsession with Sybil, like dependence. But I mostly attributed that to his age.
Yeah. Like
You
it
know,
was
and his deep, like his fascination with her.
yeah, like the myth of the what are they called? Omens? Yeah, he was so obsessed with her being no, she wasn't an omen. What was she?
She was a moth.
No, not a moth.
No, sorry, she is the moth. The crap.
What are they called? Dreamer?
Yeah, something like that. We're doing well here.
Jesus, I literally read this book like a month ago and I'm like, what are they called?
Yeah, I read it last year, so like I've got a bit more of an excuse.
The Dreamer's not right.
Diviners.
Diviner, that's it. Yeah, okay. Anyway. So good. Literally cannot wait for it to come out. But I'm gonna kill Benji.
Hopefully they do.
I hope like the second he like betrayed them, I was like, okay, cool, public enemy number 1. I hate this guy.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be very good. I'm very intrigued as well because it's like the blurb talks about like in a land where stories repeat themselves. So I think it'll be really interesting.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see. I think Maud should kill Benji.
True.
Maud, my diva. Like I love her. So I think she should kill Benji. But yeah, I'm really excited for that.
I know. And we have to wait like 6 more months still.
That's
7.
okay. I'll cope.
No, 6. 6 months still till that book comes out.
Will you reread before?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I might reread as well. We could do a
Because
buddy read.
it'll have been over a year since. See, we could do like a deep dive episode on the duology once we've read them
Yeah, that
too.
would be fun. Yeah.
That would be interesting. That's literally all I have for September. That's the only book in September that I'm excited for.
I
And I got
have
nothing in October.
one in October and then I've got one more in September. And the September one has been sitting in my want to read for over a year because I saw it when it first got announced, and it's called Under a Fur Coat by Sonia Vitomsky, and it's getting published on the 24th of September. And I'll just read the blurb. Vivian, a photographer from Manchester, arrives at a boarding house on a tiny Finnish island, hoping to rekindle her creativity and heal her broken heart. Although her fellow guests welcome her into their makeshift family, her camera still hangs on at her side unused. Vivian quickly grows close with Ilya, the affable caretaker, and one of the rebellious mycologists there. When she discovers they're searching for a mythical bracket fungus, the Bigfoot of mushrooms, she throws herself headfirst into the cause. The days pass in a blur of snow and birch trees and vodka. The longer Vivian spends in the forest, the more it consumes her. Haunted by lost time, inexplicable acts of violence, and rising tensions amongst the guests, she begins to suspect that there's something darker behind the mycologist's determination. Anyway, sounds weird, sounds creepy forest story. I love a creepy forest story, so I'm really excited about that one. And also because it's been sitting on my want to read for so long that I'm just like, okay, can we hurry this shit up?
No, fair enough. I do have one that doesn't actually have a release date yet, which is not surprising knowing this author.
Mm,
It's
that's
called
such a drag.
Hey?
That's such a drag, this author.
No,
Anyway, keep
no,
going.
it's more so she waits until the release date is closer to announce the release date. Not that it's not no, absolutely it's not a drag on her, but she withholds the release date until it's closer. And it's book 3 in the Eating Woods trilogy by Kerry Lake. It's called Vasmora. Book 1 is called Anathema and book 2 is called Eldritch. It's a very dark fantasy romance. It's so good. The male
Who's
main
the author?
character, Kerry Lake, Keri, Lake. The male main character, his name is Zavander, which is not my favourite name, but he has a Jacob's ladder.
What's a Jacob's ladder? Why are you giving me that look? I don't know what a Jacob's ladder
I'm
is.
not saying it on the podcast. Just Google it, please.
Oh, do I need to go incognito? Oh, this is a 760-page book. Actually, when Emma, who by the way our number one fan, Emma, we love you.
Hi, Emma.
She was messaging me and she was just like, wow, Eliza reads big books and she reads fast, because she was impressed by the way that you read Alchemized. What is...
Just, you
what am I
don't even need
oh,
to say what is. Just Google Jacob's ladder.
yes. Okay.
Sorry to the FBI agent that watches your Google searches.
Well, can I say the first thing that comes up is in the AI overview, fuck you, Google, Jacob's ladder refers primarily to the biblical dream in Genesis 28:10,
For
19
fuck's
of a
sake.
stairway to heaven.
Jacob's ladder
Okay.
piercing. Google that.
Ew, okay, I don't know if I want to... Okay. Ew, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Okay, I've had a lot of piercings in my life. I could not
All
imagine...
the way up the underside.
I could not imagine how physically painful that is. And I've had my nipples pierced 4 times.
He is 7 feet tall and his appendage is sizable to match.
Oh, come on. 7 foot tall. Go fuck yourself.
He's fucking Faye, so of course he's going to be 7 foot tall.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Okay, sorry, I've completely derailed.
Look, the Jacob's ladder was going to come up somewhere.
Okay.
But no, so those piercings are linked to they've got magic bound to them too.
Please.
No, it's yeah, I know it's a lot. It's from he was kept prisoner as this weird consort sex slave of some fucking batshit army general.
Okay.
And it was part of his torture was getting a new piercing, and there was it's infused with certain stuff so that any sort of sexual activity for him is incredibly painful.
What on earth?
It's Yeah, it's
Okay.
dark. It's dark. It's so good though. But yes, that's book 3 coming out. So it's expected to be in, like, everything's saying fall 2026. So for us, like, it's looking like
Yeah.
September,
Yeah.
October, November. But there is no definitive release date for that yet.
Okay. Interesting. That was.
I can tell you right now that that series is probably not your cup of tea. Carrie Lake
I can tell you right now it's not.
she
I
is
can
an
tell you
excellent
immediately.
writer, but yeah, it's probably not your cup of tea.
Mm-mm.
But other than that, now you've gone through your October ones, haven't you?
No, I've only got one in October so far,
Okay, go for your life.
which is called Milk Teeth by Caitlin Starling. And it is about a vampire who is a brood mother. So she's responsible for nursing newly made fledglings through the first years of their unlife. She nests in an abandoned, isolated warren of office space, but beneath her patron's skyscraper, and she raises 2 fledglings. And then she takes on a third fledgling, the product of an attempted siren gone wrong, teetering between vampiric purity and ghoulish depravity. So she starts to raise that fledgling. Desperate to master herself once more, Beatrice courts a mortal OBGYN who might be able to unravel the secrets of her unnatural anatomy. But soon their connection threatens the secrecy of her vampiric coven, as well as the safety and development of her dependent nurslings and the humans they stand to slaughter if left to their own devices. So I'm very excited to read that. The author is Caitlin Starling, and she also wrote I think she wrote The Starving Saints, which is another book that's been sitting on my TBR for ages. Let me see if I can find it.
That sounds all kinds of wacky. Is it supposed to be a horror? Or is it
Yeah, it's like a literary
yeah.
horror. Yeah. Because The Starving Saints is also has one of the best covers I've seen in ages. I'm obsessed with the cover. Is about a castle that's under siege and like a group of like nuns and saints who like enter the castle, and then it's it's a big cannibalism book essentially. So that came out
Ooh, I
mid
do like that cover.
May last year. I'm only heard good things about it, so I do want to read it, but I also sometimes struggle with cannibalism stuff.
I like both colorways for it too.
Yeah, it's really cool. I think it looks awesome. So yeah, I would like to read that one.
Sapphic horror fever dream. Sounds good.
Yeah, with weird religious overtones and cannibalism. Let's go. So I would like to read that one. I feel like that would be appropriate for October.
Yeah. She also wrote The Death of Jane Lawrence.
Yes, I haven't looked into that much, but I have seen it kind of referenced really positively. She is a friend of mine, like Caitlin Starling's like her favorite author, so I keep hearing lots of good stuff about it.
Oh,
I'm
interesting cover
looking.
too.
Yeah.
There's 2 different covers for The Death of Jane Lawrence.
Yeah, they're quite good, both of them. There is a book that is a new release that I kept seeing, and I was like, this looks really interesting. I'm probably going to read it. And there has been so much shit chat about it that I have absolutely no desire to read it
What's it called?
anymore. It's called Lost Lambs by Madeline Cash. And Emma and I were
Yeah,
going to
I've
have
heard you talk about this.
Yeah, so Emma and I were going to have it as our book club book last month. And then, like, all of a sudden we were both just kind of like, no, we actually don't want to read this. But the conversation around it is making me, like, not want to read it. I do think the cover is really cool. And it sounds interesting. I also think that this does come into the fact that I don't really love reading American books.
Yeah.
And this is about like a American family reaching breaking point, and I kind of don't want to interact with it.
I also, so when I was doing a little bit of research for this episode just on like general new releases, which let's be real, we're not getting to because we've been recording for an hour and 10 minutes. We're not even finished our own releases. But
Yeah,
I
I'm
was
obsessed
on,
with the fact that we didn't think this episode would go for long.
no, I was on the Penguin website and I remember reading about this. I've actually pulled it up now because I was like, oh, wait, I remember reading a bit about this book. It sounds interesting, but like you don't like American based stuff. So it's possibly not going to be.
Yeah, I think it's probably more that is like, that's
I do
probably,
love the like chaotic conspiracy theory stuff.
yeah,
Like
I think it would
the
be
oldest
really,
child having a nick. No, sorry, the oldest child is dating an ex soldier with a nickname War Crimes Wes.
yeah. It sounds like it would be probably really funny, but I just don't want to read it. And then there was so much, there was like irritating, like intellectual wankiness from like white men essentially being irritated that this author, like Madeline Cash, went to school for writing, surrounded herself by writers, and then started a literary magazine and has now published a book which is getting called like the next great American novel. And they're like being like, oh, you know, she's trying to rip off, and they're like naming a whole bunch of like classic American like male authors. And it's like, you're just annoyed that she's a woman. Like, that's actually
Yeah.
what this is down to. You're not, if a man wrote this book, you would be praising it. And if he was doing that behavior, you would be praising it. But it's the fact that she's a woman that you're like irritated by this.
Yeah.
So, and then it was like the back and forth of that controversy. And I was like, I don't want to bloody listen to this anymore.
We'll say this Goodreads review does make me laugh a little bit. They gave it 5 stars. If Wes Anderson wrote Little Women.
Okay. Vivid imagery.
I know. Sounds fantastic. Someone else. Okay, hear me out. Did you ever play The Simpsons Hit and Run as a kid? Because this book is giving that.
Jesus fucking Christ. Okay.
That's funny.
Interesting. Well, yeah, that was one of the ones that's got a lot of hype at the beginning of the year that I was like, I don't know if I want to actually read this anymore. But that might be me being contrarian. I do need to go through. I feel like there's a lot of books on my list, but like I do need to go through and find other ones as well, I think. And I want to try and read. I really do want to try and read the Booker list. But I don't know if I'm going to get through it. But we'll see. Yeah. I also forgot that I've just seen it. So Glyph from Ali Smith comes out in May, which is cool. So Ali Smith wrote, like, she has a massive, massive career, like quite a long career, but she wrote The Seasonal Quartet, which was like really popular a few years ago, and like it's great, and it was like autumn, summer, winter, spring.
Yeah, I remember you talking about those books.
Beautiful covers of the book. I feel like I keep talking about covers, but like they're such beautiful covers. I also don't know who has my copy of Winter, so I need to track that shit down. But yeah, she's written a book, or she's writing 2 books. One is called Glyph, Glyff, and then the second one is out in May, and it's Glyph spelled Glyph. So I'm really excited to read that one. Yeah. I really love Ali Smith, so I think that will be good. Also, she's written like some books on like art and stuff like that, so I'm really excited to give that one
All
a
right,
read.
I've only got
Even though I
one
haven't read
left.
the first one.
I've only got
Yes.
one left for the year in November. November 10th is... No, we don't have a title for it yet. I just have a release date. It is the 3rd book in the Quicksilver Saga, or Fey and Alchemy is the series. Comes out on November 10th. That's it. That's all I got.
Is that the Callie Hart one?
Yeah.
Wait, so is she publishing 2 books this year?
Yeah. The one that's coming out this month in March is a collection of another series of hers. Like, it's the first 3 books in another series. I think it's just being republished. But yes, that's the last one for this year. I feel like there's definitely something I've maybe missed that's coming out later this year,
I've definitely missed
but I don't
books.
remember. So
No. And also now that I'm going through some of those lists where it's like the most anticipated like fiction, I'm like, oh, I need to add that. Oh, I need to add that. Oh, I need to add that. So it's like I'm gonna
stay tuned for some updates, maybe.
Well, also I feel like June and July a lot of books get published, so I feel like there'll be more coming up. We can do like a release radar or something.
Yeah,
like
if
that,
there's
I
anything
think.
if there's anything new coming up that's caught our interest, we can just throw it in whenever.
All right. What have you read recently? Which for us will be month of February.
So, as of recording this, I'm going to count the book that I'm pretty much finished because I have like less than 100 pages to read. I will have read seven books for February.
Wow,
Which is
that's
pretty-
good.
It's not bad. I did read 12 in January.
Okay. Freak.
I really struggled, and I don't know whether it's just at the start of the month that obviously we were getting the podcast launched. So a lot of my spare time was going into editing the first couple of episodes. And I was just fucking tired. I also had my little mental health breakdown at the start of February too, so I was doing nothing but staring off into the abyss.
And spending money in IKEA.
Yes, spending
Those were good
$2,000 at
updates. I liked those updates.
Yeah, they were
Not the
good.
mental health one, but the IKEA trips were
The
fun.
IKEA trip was good. But I finished out a trilogy that I received an early copy for the audiobook, but I actually never ended up listening to the audiobook. I just read them all on my Kindle. So I'm so sorry, Podium. I didn't do that. And they're just kind of like, they were all good. They were just a traditional kind of fae fantasy romance. Like nothing,
Nice.
like they were good and they were solid. I definitely like shed a tear at the end of the third book because a couple of people died and I was like, well, this sucks. But, like, they weren't like, I rated them, like, 3.5. I think I rated book 4 stars. So, like, good, not incredible. I then also read a Viking-inspired duology called Saga of the Unfated. Book 1, excellent. It was so refreshing to read something that was, like, Norse-inspired versus everything else being traditionally, like, English, traditional European, like, English, Germanic, Irish. Like, they're all, you get a lot of that in fantasy. So for this to be Norse gods, so we've got Thor, we've got Odin, we've got Freya, we've got all of that. Much more interesting, so refreshing. Loved our female main character. Book 2 fell off a little bit for me. However, the twist in it redeemed it, and it ended on a pretty good note. So I still thoroughly enjoyed them. Carla, obviously.
Yes.
Excellent. That was my real big genre shift for the month. I also did do the audio for Lights Out because, as I said earlier in this episode, the third book in that series comes out at the end of March. It will be out by the time this episode airs. But I wanted to do a re-listen because I actually haven't read the physical book for either of those books. I've done audio because they have impeccable voice actors for them. And
Is it like
because
a whole cast?
they're dual narrated because they're dual POV. It's
Yep.
just dual narrated, but it's not like where some dual narration, like if you're in a certain character's point of view, where if it's a female narrator at the moment, they will still then do the male voices. That if they don't
Yeah,
do
yeah.
that, they still get the male voice actor to come in and do the male voices.
Mhm.
So it feels a bit more organic. But they are excellently done. So I've listened to the first book, and then for March, I'll listen to the second book in the lead up to the last one coming out. So that's kind of it. And then I'm almost finished Throne of Nightmare. So it's been pretty much all fantasy this month, but that's
Yeah,
okay.
it sounds like a fantasy-heavy month.
Most of my months are fantasy heavy. I read mostly
Yeah.
fantasy. So
Yep.
what about you? What have you been reading? It's likely far more varied.
It's really not. I didn't read much in February because, like, the first half of February the first week of February, we moved house. And then both of us didn't take much because we both took, like, 3 weeks of leave over Christmas, New Year's. So I didn't take a lot of leave. I took 3 days to move. So I took, like, a Thursday, Friday, and a Monday off. So I did not read anything for the first half of Feb because I was just either moving, cleaning, or sleeping. But I read 4 books. So did I read 4? No, sorry. I read 3 books. No, I did read 4 books, sorry. I finished The Night and the Moth. I read The Art Thief by Michael Finkel, which was a nonfiction one about this art thief it was such a bloody good book. I am going to get the art thief's name because it was wild. He, like, didn't steal, he stole, like, blatantly for years in, like, France. And then he never sold anything because his whole thing was like, I'm keeping the art because I'm owed beauty. And he, like, got his girlfriend to steal with him. But, like, the stealing he did would be, like, blatant. Like, there would be security guards in the room and he would literally just take stuff off of the wall. Like, at one point he stole a bow and arrow that was hanging from, like, a cable, stole it, dropped it out of the window into the garden below, walked out of the art gallery, picked it up and left. Didn't get found for years. He carried out more than 200 heists over 10 years. His name was Stefan Breitweiser. It was crazy. But then, like, when he got arrested, it's never been confirmed. So this is all alleged. So he was living in his mother's attic with his girlfriend, and that was where they kept all of the art. And then when he got arrested, the mum got rid of the art, and it is alleged that she got rid of the painting. Like, she threw a lot of like the metalwork and the pewter stuff and everything like that into the river, which was then later found and restored. But it is alleged that she set the paintings on fire. And it's like they're important paintings, like especially for like Flemish Renaissance and stuff like that. They're like classics. So the part of me that has an art history degree wanted to kill myself after listening to
I
this.
bet.
But it was crazy. And he's still just like, oh, I don't think I did anything wrong.
Ugh.
Like,
True
you know,
delusion.
true delusion. It was really good. And it was also like, it's 250 pages. Like, it's a short, sharp book. I thought it was really excellent. But it was nice to read an art book that wasn't like, because like I love reading about art and I love reading a lot of nonfiction about it. But reading about art theft was really interesting. Then I read Paladin's Grace, which we've already spoken about. 5 stars, loved, so good. I DNF'd Palava by Brian Washington. We've already talked about it. I didn't like it. And then the next book I read was Heap Earth Upon It by Chloe Michelle Howarth, which she's a Irish author, and it was about 4 siblings in 1965 in rural Ireland, and it was so, so good. It was like so tense the whole way. Like, I didn't realize that I was tense the whole way through reading it, but it was like tense, and the ending is kind of ambiguous, but in like a very compelling way. It was really good. It was kind of creepy. Yeah, loved it. I really want to read her other book because this was her second book. And her first book is called Sunburn, and it's had a lot of good reviews and stuff like that. So I'd like to go back and read that. I think that will be really good. But yeah, that's all. I've only read 4 books. Unless I sit down and read a book today and tomorrow. That's probably all I'm going to read for
Not
February.
completely off the table.
It's not completely off the table. So it's going to be shitty weather all weekend. So I feel like it's going to be a good, like, thunderstorms. But the off-putting part about it, I was like, oh yeah, thunderstorms and like, what did you say? It was like 120 mil of rain expected or
Yeah,
something?
something ridiculous.
I was like, beautiful, stunning. This is going to be so good. I could go sit in the pergola in the beach and read and watch the storm. That's going to be so nice. No, 30 fucking degrees all weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be hot.
What am I in,
and humid.
Darwin? Are you back in
Apparently.
Queensland? What are we doing?
Ugh.
I
Yeah, I
hate
know.
it.
We are getting true tropical rain up here.
Oh,
No.
I hate it.
The last thing we need to cover is last week we spun the wheel for our challenge.
We did. We spun the wheel.
And last episode, it was 2 weeks ago.
It was about an hour ago for us.
It was an hour ago for us. So we spun the wheel, and this month our challenge is to read a non-fiction book. So tell me what your non-fiction book of choice for this month is.
Currently, I might change. So don't hold me to this. I'm a different person to who I was 5 minutes ago. Anyway, I'm going to read, this is one of the books that I bought on Love Your Bookstore Day. So I'm going to read Swimming Studies by Leanne Shapton, who is a painter now and a writer, but she was like a professional swimmer. And this is her book on, it's kind of like a memoir where she talks about like when she first joined a professional swim team. She like went to the Olympic trials twice, and kind of how she is like absolutely like obsessed with water and being underwater and all of that kind of stuff. So I think it'll be really interesting. There's lots of like photos and stuff in it as well, and lots of her art is in it. So it's quite a thick book, but like flipping through, like some pages only have like 2 or 3 sentence. So I think it'll be nice. And it's one of those like nice, really heavy paperbacks with like the
Yes.
fold-out cover. So it's really nice. I'm excited to read it. I was going to actually pick this up yesterday because I was looking for a new book after finishing Paladin's Grace, but instead I'm reading Waist Deep. Why am I showing it to you like I expect people to be able to see it? I'm reading Waist Deep by Linnea Marja Ernst, which is translated from Swedish. And it's about five friends from university, 7 summer days in a lakeside cabin, troubled romance, flirtatious friendship, and an aching sense that nothing is ever truly perfect. It's really good. It's also like really big font, which I wasn't expecting.
I just saw that. That looks massive.
Yeah, it's massive. I was like, oh, okay, cool. And it's like 200 pages. So I might finish it. This might be my 5th book for February. But yeah, it looks good. It looks good. Love a sweaty summer romance book. But it's not even really romance. Like, it's like tense friend romance type of stuff. Anyway.
Fair enough.
What are you going to read?
I mean, I was also between two, but I think I'm going to go with Dinner for Vampires by Bethany Joy Lenz.
I'm excited to hear your review about this book.
So, for those of you listening at home, if you don't know who Bethany Joy Lenz is, she played Haley on One Tree Hill.
Did you watch One Tree Hill?
I am obsessed with One Tree Hill. It is
Right,
probably
okay.
so One Tree Hill is probably my favorite of the like 2000s teen drama shows. So
Interesting.
like
I don't think I really
if you're
watched
talking
any of them.
like, Dawson's Creek, One Tree Hill, The OC, I wouldn't I mean Vampire Diaries to an extent, all of those shows, One Tree Hill would be my favorite, followed closely by The OC.
Wasn't allowed to watch the OC, which was crazy because I started watching the OC when I was like, I think I wanted to watch it when I was like 12 because that was when it was airing. And I started watching it, and my mum was like, "You're not watching this because it's too old for you." And I was like, "No, it's not." And then by the time it was like genuinely like 6 months later, she was like, "Oh, you can watch it if you want to." And I was like, "Nah, bored of it."
I
I did have a poster of Adam Brody in my room for about 3 years though.
Who doesn't love Adam Brody though? I was allowed to watch The OC from I think when I was about 13 too. Um, and then my mum pestered me for so long with One Tree Hill being like, "I think you'd really like this." And when your mum you basically just said the same thing with The OC, when your mum's like, "I think you'll really enjoy this," you go, "No, fuck off, I don't wanna watch it."
I don't want to watch it.
So then I
Ugh.
watched it when I was, like, a young adult and absolutely became obsessed with the show.
Me with Buffy.
Yeah. So, she was in that, so obviously back in the early 2000s, those, like, high school drama teen shows were all the fucking rage. So, the subtitle for this is Life on a Cult TV Show because One Tree Hill was very much one of those, like, big cultish, like, crazy fans. The thing is while she was filming this show, she was actually also in a cult. She'd married the person that she had married was very into this one particular church. I do not remember what it was called. Quickly.
The big oh, it's a I'm reading the blurb now, the Big House Family.
Yes. So, yeah, he was part of this, and then they just kind of
Some red flags going on there.
yeah. Yeah, so she
It looks
eventually
good.
moved to the compound and then was convinced to marry his son, sorry. And then, yeah, it sounds really interesting. I really enjoyed the show. I have also read memoirs by one of the other actors from the show, Hilary Burton. That's the other book
I
that I
know who
showed
this
you.
actress is now. I'm Googling her now, and I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I
Bethany Joy
remember her."
Lenz.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's so
she's been
pretty.
in a few other things.
Yep.
She was in I wanna say she was in a Bring It On movie at one point. Just to really give us a good throwback to the 2000s. But I think I'm gonna read that. I was between that and The House of My Mother by Shari Frankie, but I fear that might be a tiny little bit heavy for
Yeah, it does
March.
sound I remember when you told me about that book, and I was like, "That sounds
It
like a
is
lot."
rather heavy, so that is my pick for this month. I think this will be I mean, I won't say this is gonna be a bit lighthearted, but
I don't think it's gonna be lighthearted, but I love reading about cults.
I think it's gonna be a little more intriguing and a little bit less, like, as a parent, a little bit less intense for me to read right now.
Yeah. They're actually talking about cult books, there's a cult book that I have been wanting to read for ages, and I haven't been able to get it at the library. I think I'm just gonna have to buy it, I think. But it's called Jesus and John Wayne: How White Evangelicals Corrupted a Faith and Fractured a Nation. So it's specifically about like white American Christians, which like they are all parts of cults. So it is really I think it's like a lot to do with like Pentecostals and stuff like that. So it's gonna be I want to read that because I feel like it sounds really interesting. I also love any kind of culty book.
Same.
So yeah, I think it'll be good. So we will check back in a month and let you know how our book challenge went.
Yeah. Alright, that's all we have today. See you
Bye
next
bye bye.
time. Bye.